Who's under the most pressure for the Lions? 3 choices: Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, or Brad Holmes.
Dan Campbell has another year, no matter what if they go 3.
See, I think the same is for Goff.
But he's got a lot of pressure he's got to produce. Now's the time to prove that you are the quarterback moving forward.
Who's under the most pressure for the Lions? 3 choices: Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, or Brad Holmes, as it sits right now. And that's an open-ended question. You can determine the ground rules as you see fit.
It's a rotating question. This
Interesting.
This isn't, because I think at different parts of the season, I think right now the spotlight is on Jared Goff, right? I think the most pressure right now is on Jared Goff, because the number one question as we get these younger guys and Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell put this team together, all eyes are on the quarterback, because we didn't draft one, because of the speculation, is this guy going to earn the next contract? Is he a guy that can win? Right? So me immediately, all eyes, training camp, beginning of the season, because he didn't get off to a good start last season. We want to see the interaction between offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, and Jared Goff, and if he is the guy, because offensively he's been afforded weapons that he didn't have last year, and a speed receiver. You know, you got another year with Hawk. You got Ross St. Brown. Hopefully DeAndre Swift's healthy. You got Williams out of the backfield. You got Ragnow coming back. You got that offensive line. So to me, it's Goff and it's the offense. Number 2, right? And I think, and this is where even more so, right away, it's how Campbell's going to use these guys and use this talent and what it is. As the season goes on and the record comes out and guys are getting on the field or not getting on the field, producing or not producing, that's what the spotlight will go more to Brad Holmes. For guys that he drafted last year that we talked about, in the same argument and the same conversation as we've had, is why we should trust in him, because he's putting guys on the field. So he puts guys on the field. I think it's a lot of different check marks. They all have boxes and check marks to be checked. But to me, to answer your question, I believe at the beginning of the year, it's Jared Goff, and the spotlight will be on him depending on success or failure, then go to Campbell, and then go to Holmes. So I think it's the way it's written. Goff, Campbell, Holmes is probably the way that I would start the season off. But I am not I'm not fooled by the fact that because this is so new, and because we don't know what we have in a lot of ways, or see what are we not seeing that these guys see the confidence in Goff. So I think the spotlight is really on Goff until further notice. Until fans are like, oh my God, get him out of here, he's awful. Or, oh, wait, he's building on what he did at the end of last season. We might have something here.
And I think the easy answer is Goff, and that's what everybody's going to say. And as we update the YouTube chat poll right now, 69% of you say Goff, 23% of you say Campbell, and 8% say Brad Holmes. I don't think there is a ton of pressure on Goff. Because and this is consistent with the message. My only concern about all this, D-Mac, is I think he's juiced in to some degree.
See, but
I believe
here's
that.
The thing: the pressure on Goff from us fans, not pressure from the organization. They've sort of handed him the mantle, right? Where he's not feeling pressure from inside. But I'm saying, as fans, isn't our spotlight on because?
Well, it's always going to be that, right? It's always going to be on Goff.
But what I'm saying is, what have you done for me lately? If we didn't, there's part of the fan base is, why didn't we draft a quarterback? Part of the fan base is, this guy's not the answer. Part of the fan base doesn't care that he got LA to the Super Bowl. They just figure that he can't win, right? That's it. He's not the answer. He's not the answer. So, you know, I see what you're saying as far as what the pressure from inside the organization isn't there for him, but I think it's outside as far as our fan base. And yeah, it's always that way for the quarterbacks of this town and the goalies of this town. You know, it's somewhat for the pitchers of this town, but that doesn't change. So because it doesn't change, it's always going to be that way.
NFL Draft Junkie says Goff's the one who could possibly lose his job next year. Dan Campbell could lose 10 to 13 games and still keep his job. My point would be, how do you delineate between the two? For me, if one of them's going to lose their job, then both of them are going to lose their job.
but-
I don't think either of them can lose their
Listen,
job.
here's-
That goes back to the clock, though, too.
Right.
The DMAC clock.
Well, it does go back to the clock, but here's the whole thing too: it's the clock, the clock.
I know everyone's fired up, but there's still another season to get through here before they are ready to roll
But here's
financially.
the whole thing: where's the spotlight also? And this is why it's on Goff, is because we're not our expectations from our defense is still up in the air. We're not there yet, but offensively, we're putting things together. So expectations offensively on the offensive side of the board are already formulating. So what I'm saying is that if this team doesn't produce offensively, it's going to look at the quarterback and then eventually look. But yes, I agree to what you're saying. Is Dan Campbell has another year, no matter what this. If they go
See, I think the same is for Goff.
3-14. Well, that's but you decide going into next season into the draft whether you're going to sign him, you're going to go out and sign somebody else, or you're going to draft somebody else. But he's got a lot of pressure to be. He's got to produce. The pressure is now's the time to prove that you are the quarterback moving forward. So the pressure is he's got to show is he the guy? Because I don't think they can do that and going into 2 years from now when my clock runs out, having the same is Jared Goff the guy like we are now. I think we can say
We might be. What do you got, Spencer?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Chuck Brewer took the words out of my mouth in the chat. He said, we've seen Goff do well before. We have never seen Campbell be a winning coach. And another way to look at it, he says, we already know Goff's ceiling and floor. We don't know what we have in Campbell. And that's what I'm saying. We know, what Jared Goff is when he's playing well. We know what Jared Goff is when he's playing poorly. But Dan Campbell, the jury's still out. So I think this is important for him to show that he can win these games. These close games that they were in last year, he needs to show that he can actually go out there and win those games as an NFL head coach.
Joseph Austin, our YouTube chat thread, says we are drafting a quarterback next year regardless. And I don't think they are. I don't. They might, they might take one of those flyers. They will not draft a quarterback of significance next year. I don't believe that.
You really don't think
I
so?
I don't believe that.
Oh, my God.
I don't believe that.